So about 3 months ago, I was in Costco here in Orange County. Now, for transparency, I've only been in Costco like twice in my life. And that led some people to say, like, you're arrogant, entitled. How have you not spent more time in Costco? I don't know. I just know I'm not there much. And while I was there, it's kind of an overwhelming experience. It's kind of like your first day in prison. You feel like people are studying you, like they're judging you. I wasn't in the right line. I wasn't following the right process. Uh, it wasn't a great experience. The first day in prison was easier. And then as I'm lost in this massive Costco, the size of a damn prison, I think someone's like following me. And because at night I scroll on Instagram at times, like you see all these videos and I have a family and children. So like you see these videos where it's like, if you're leaving a Costco or a Walmart, if you think someone's following you, they may block you and they may put money on the door handle. Don't touch the money. There could be a drug and then they're going to trap you. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is actually happening at a Costco in Orange County. Someone is following me. It was a really uncomfortable experience. And guess what? Someone was actually following me. And she taps me on the shoulder. And she said, hey, I know you. And I'm like, I don't know you. And she said, you've covered Elizabeth Holmes. And I'm like, I have, but I ain't never doing it again. She's like, I watch all of the videos you filmed about Elizabeth Holmes. Like, I just want to say, like, I'm a fan. And I'm like, thank you. You didn't have to follow me around for 27 minutes before you told me you were a fan. I thought you were going to abduct me, take me away from my family. This is worse than any day in prison. I went home that night and I had an email from her that I could show you. It's about 19 pages. If you're watching, I read the first page. Thank you for introducing yourself, for not abducting me, for sending an email. I only read page one. I got the point. To all of you, welcome to the White Collar Advice channel. I'm so grateful that you're here. 17 years ago today in prison, I celebrated my 34th birthday, which means I'm 51 today. And I'm so thankful to share it with all of you. When I met that woman who didn't abduct me in Costco, I said to her, I ain't never doing it again. I will never film another video about Elizabeth Holmes. Hence the thumbnail that says you're breaking your own rules, going back to a classic from the early 90s. You remember, I'm 51 now. Do you remember the classic film Point Break, where Bodie's robbing the bank with Johnny Utah? And Johnny Utah says, you're breaking your own rules. I'm breaking my own rules because I said I would never cover Elizabeth Holmes again. Yet here I am, because earlier today, a friend of mine and the press reached out and said, I would love your take. Word on the street got, I'm like, what street, man? Word on the street got out that Elizabeth Holmes is seeking like clemency or commutation. What are your thoughts on it? I'm like, that's great. Everyone in prison should pursue clemency, pardon, commutation. I have absolutely no problem with her pursuing clemency. He's like, is that all you got? I'm like, no, I got more, but you asked me how I feel about it. I got no problem with it. You want to know why? Why, he asked, because the first thing you want to do when you get to prison is what? Get out. And it would be foolish, dumb, naive, stupid to not pursue every possible path to getting out of there as early as possible. If that's the drug program, if that's ensuring you keep your good time, maximizing time in the halfway house. And if you have a pathway to clemency, you would be a fool not to take it. So he's like, to be clear, you don't have a problem with her pursuing clemency. And I'm thinking to myself, how many times, my friend, do I need to tell you? Every person in prison should pursue a path to clemency. So he's like, do you have any issue with it? I said, that's the right question. There I could provide some value. He said, well, provide some value. So on a macro level, let's not forget that Elizabeth Holmes is serving 11 years or so in prison. She's been in a little while, and she's due to be released in December of like 31. So she's got some time left. She's made a big dent into the sentence because of time she served, good time, First Step Act credit. So she's made a dent into the sentence. I have no problem with the request. I then said it was somewhat strategic and shrewd that she asked for a commutation versus a pardon. And he said, why? I said, well, a commutation doesn't void the conviction, and a pardon would essentially wipe out not just the conviction where you get all of your rights back, travel, the felony's gone. It also wipes away the restitution, forfeiture, fines, money that's owed. That is a significant benefit if you owe money to a pardon, in addition to all of the other benefits. So a commutation keeps the conviction. It just gets her home from prison. So it was somewhat strategic asking for the commutation rather than a pardon, though we have many people in our community pursuing commutations, pardons. Many have been successful. It's just as much work for either, but I have no doubt she was advised to pursue the pardon versus to pursue the clemency or commutation versus the pardon, because they said the conviction's going to remain, so would the fines. Though, of course, the president in the clemency request or approval can also wipe away restitution and fines and so on, even if it's just a commutation. The president of the United States has a great deal of discretion and latitude, as you would imagine. So this comes back to the title of this video, even though I'm breaking my own rules here. Should she get a commutation? And I would defer to the pardon application. The pardon application asks, what should the pardon attorney consider? What's new since you've been sentenced to prison, right? So when you get sentenced to prison, you should have all of this mitigation leading up to why you should get a shorter sentence. If the guidelines are here, why you should get a guideline, why you should get a sentence below the guidelines. That's just good mitigation. Some people are successful. Where some people, I think, make a mistake is they presume that all of the good work they did before sentencing is then a justification to get clemency, commutation, or a pardon, when they do not bother to look at the pardon application that says, what should we consider that your judge did not consider its sentencing? That's why it's essential. The earlier someone can begin to build a record that shows why they're different than the government's version of events. Because if you don't respond to that version, here's what happens. The DOJ's version, it hardens, it gets stronger over time. You have nothing to compete against it. So anyone on the end of this looking for clemency, they're more likely if they can say, I began doing this work 3 months, 6 months, 6 years, and I'm continuing that work post-sentence. A lot of defendants do nothing at sentencing, and a lot of defendants do nothing post-sentencing, and they request a pardon. The question is, have you earned it? I've been somewhat tough on Elizabeth Holmes over the years because I felt as if she outsourced work. There was very little acceptance of responsibility, a lot of blaming and excusing. If anything, she was the victim. And that is part of the reason people took such pleasure in her pain with the very long sentence she got. Indeed, in advance of her surrender to prison, I did a live video that I think got hundreds of thousands of views around her New York Times article. It was like the new Elizabeth Holmes, and she was trying to come off as a victim, indeed, as this person who is continuing to save the world. She's just misunderstood. Now, for full transparency, because white collar advice, we work with most white collar defendants traversing the system, which means we have people in nearly every prison camp across the country, including many low security prisons for myriad reasons. A white collar defendant may go to a low. So we've had many people in our community serving time at Bryant Federal Prison Camp with Elizabeth Holmes. So I have inside information. I'm not going to get into her daily routine about the shampoo she uses, what time she gets up, or how much she exercises. I don't think it's anyone's damn business. But what I can tell you is I think Elizabeth Holmes, from what I've heard and people with whom I've spoken with, misconstrue extraordinary and compelling with what's required. It's very important for anyone traversing the criminal justice system. Some people think they've earned a pardon because they go to programming. They avoid the iPhone. They avoid the drugs. They avoid problems. They do what they're required to do, and they think they are exceptional. Doing what you are required to do is not exceptional. Further, you could argue while she's on the inside, there has been this continued pattern of blaming, I'm innocent, I'm the victim, and she's kind of moved her way back into or pivoted to, I'm going to use my experience to change the world. Indeed, earlier this year, there was an article that came out stating that she was helping women with their cases and appeals and writing. I think it's wonderful. I said, I think it's fantastic. Remember that commercial from the 80s? I'm 51 today. And I remember my mom used to love that Wendy's commercial where these old ladies held up the beef and said, where's the beef, man? So the issue with Elizabeth Holmes pursuing clemency is, you know what I want to know? Where's the beef? What has she done since she was sentenced to 11 years in prison that shows she is part of the solution, that shows she will never return to another courtroom, that shows she will use her experience as an asset to help people in prison, women with whom she is serving time, that wasn't flying on Theranos private jets, was not on the cover of Fortune, was not at one time a billionaire. What is she doing? Indeed, anyone in our community who has earned clemency, there is a documented record, contribution, evidence, and many of them have supported our work through prisonprofessors.org, which influences 1 million people in prisons and jails. You can't fake it. It's documented. My colleague, Michael Santos, visited 40 prisons over the last 6 months. He's going to continue to visit more in the coming weeks and months. Many people in our community get vested, become part of the mission to help people in prisons and jails. It's real. It's timestamped. You can't fake it. That's what I would encourage anyone pursuing clemency to do. Just don't ask because you may have a connection to the White House. Demonstrate why you are a candidate for it. And therein lies the issue with Elizabeth Holmes. Fine with her asking, has she earned it? And I see someone's commented on her Twitter. Part of me thinks the Twitter or X accounts are fake. There ain't no way, in my opinion, she's posting that. She may be, someone may be running it, and someone may have convinced her in a PR or crisis management that helps her. All it does is hurt her. There is no doubt about that. But I would agree with you. She continues to play the victim. She feels she did nothing wrong. People still get clemency, pardons, by maintaining their innocence. Indeed, someone in our community named Jerry Lundergan got a pardon by Biden, but the DOJ referenced a nonprofit that he helped grow and develop and justifying the pardon. That was Professors Charitable Corporation. Why? Post-sentence, what did he do? Is it documented? Is it real? Is it verifiable? That's what looks excellent in a pardon application. Now, do I have a connection? I've been in prison long enough. I get it. I'm ready to go home. Everyone wants to go home. I can assure you, I know, because 17 years ago today, I was celebrating my 34th birthday in prison. We all want to go home. Why are you worthy of it? So here's the advice that I would give to Elizabeth Holmes. I don't think she's watching it. She could be watching this live from Bryan Federal Prison Camp on an illegal iPad or iPhone, which would get in the way of her commutation request if she had a disciplinary infraction that sent her to the hole. So she's probably not watching this. So for the person who wants to earn clemency, for the person who wants to do the work, for the person who wants to write a beautiful pardon application that shows this is what I've done post-sentence that shows that I'm part of the solution. Here are some final tips on my 51st birthday. Can you believe I'm 51? Good God, man. Just don't talk about it, man. Everyone just talks about it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it when I come home. I'm going to start when I have 6 months to the house, which is prison parlance, 6 months to the halfway house. Everyone talks. I talked when I went to prison. I said I was going to do this. I didn't. I'm going to build this. I didn't. It wasn't until I found a mentor who helped me understand how the decisions that I was making was going to translate to the rest of my life. More struggle on the other side. Who cares how quickly I got out of prison, because I was going to be in a prison for life because of the choices that I was making in those early days in prison, complaining, exercise, thinking that I was different because I exercised all day compared to the dude that watched television all day. I was no different. I was the same. I was probably worse because I knew better and I had opportunities many of those good dudes in prison did not have. So Elizabeth Holmes or any of her sycophants or friends or family or colleagues watching this, just don't talk about it. I want to know what you've done since you surrendered to the wrong side of federal prison boundaries. What have you done to help people on the inside besides just talking about it? You've written or helped people with appeals. Has anyone prevailed? And even if you haven't prevailed, who have you done it for? What did that work look like? Many of these people with whom you served time, Elizabeth, are now coming home from prison. And if you claim to help them, they should gladly talk about how you help them use their experience productively, use your skill set as an entrepreneur and executive to help them prepare for the next phase of their life. The problem we have, back to my wonderful mom's analogy, is there ain't no beef. And therein lies the issue with so many people getting upset with her pursuing clemency, or perhaps some people getting clemency if they don't feel they have earned it. I can just tell you, in our community, people pursuing it and who have earned it, their community service work is documented. It's real. It's not fake. It puts them in the best possible situation to succeed. I'm hopeful that she is doing this work. And maybe in the pardon application she created, she shared the evidence of that work. But it should be very, very deliberate. And frankly, it should be online for the entire world to see, which is why we encourage people to go to prisonprofessors.org. It's free. There's more than 5,000 people in prison right now documenting their journey on prisonprofessors.org. White Collar Advice helps fund that work. There's more than 8.7 million words on that website, people in prison writing for free. I can assure you a number of those people are on their way to pardons or clemency. They are earning it. They are documenting it. They are building. They're just not going to programming. They're writing about, what did I learn from the program? How will it help me? That's exactly what Elizabeth Holmes should be doing as I wrap up. And that's the takeaway. Elizabeth, what's the last book you read? Why did you read it? What did you learn from the book? How will the book help you moving forward? I'd like to see that book report. I'd like to know if you're teaching 100, 200, 300, 400 women inside Bryan Federal Prison Camp how to become an entrepreneur, how to build, how to create. Because regardless of how someone you feel about her, you can't change. She had some skills, something to her that enabled her to have some success. Kind of like the Kardashians in a way. They got something. Use that experience and skill set to help. Are you? Further, what's the last program you attended, Elizabeth? What did you learn from it? Why did you take the course? What will you do moving forward? How will this course help you moving forward? If she doesn't have evidence that shows she's part of the solution, she is simply relying on clemency, commutation, pardon, because of some access, rather than she has earned it. No problem with the request. I just want to see the beef. This will be the final video I ever film on Elizabeth Holmes. I want to get it very clear. I created this thumbnail for a reason. I broke my own rules and filming it. I will never do it again. This is the final video in the Elizabeth Holmes saga. I'm 51 today. I'm going to go celebrate with my family. Thank you so much for being a part of the White Collar Advice community. Bye-bye.